what's up guys, welcome back to another video. If you guys don't know who I am, my name is David, and today I'll be showing you guys exactly how to structure a stupidly simple offer that you can pretty much sell to anybody, obviously in any business niche. So yeah, like I said from the title of this video, I'm gonna be showing you guys exactly how to do this. Even a 6th grader can probably do this as well. So it's gonna be very simple, gonna be very straightforward, and enough talking from my side. Let's get straight into it. Okay, so we are in. So obviously you can see this is going to be Meta Ads plus AI outbound lead generation systems. So a lot of other businesses probably do that. Obviously you can throw in like your own unique touch, but what you can essentially do here is this offer by itself. Yes, you can create different offers, but if you're just starting out, why would you want to create 5 to 10 different offers when you can't even sell one offer, right? When you haven't even signed your first client. So this is a simple offer that you can pretty much do. Very great for retainers. Obviously high leverage as well. You can sell this at a high package as well. Very high ticket, right? You're essentially running ads for them and you're pretty much creating lead generation systems to make sure that you pre-qualify those leads. And pretty much convert them on the calendar, right? So this is how it's going to essentially work, right? So you can call it however you want, paid ads package or something, but I just called it Meta Ads plus AI outbound lead generation system, right? So just going to give you guys a rundown before I kind of go over the 3 pillars. Essentially, when someone runs ads, right? Let's say if you don't have experience in running ads, maybe learn that skill. If you don't want to learn that skill, totally fine, up to you. Hire a marketing team, but you're essentially going to be spending a lot of you're going to probably have to give them commission on top of what they're doing, right? So I would suggest you learn the skill of running ads. Once you learn that skill, then you can pretty much learn the skill of putting systems and automations in place, right? So let's say this. When someone clicks on an advertisement, right, instead of it going strictly to like a phone call, once that form is pretty much filled out, it could be a lead generation form, it could be a lead inquiry form. Whenever someone fills that form out, what typically it's going to do is instead of, obviously the person having to reach out to them because they fill out the form, it's going to kind of go through like a whole sequence, putting them in the database, pretty much pre-qualifying those leads, making sure that they're pre-qualified until they book on the calendar, because you want to make sure that you don't have unqualified clients on the calendar, right? So it's pretty much like a whole lead generation system. So it's essentially reaching out to those leads right when they inquire you in the first place, even if they just click on the ad in general, right? You want to make sure that it's kind of speed to lead. So it's running ads, and then at the same time you have systems and automations in place to make sure that you are quicker to those leads, because at the end of the day, time is a killer of revenue, right? So you want to make sure that you have systems in place to help them, generate more leads quicker and faster, right? By reaching out to them as soon as possible. So this is how it's going to work, right? So obviously lead generation is the first pillar. As you can see here, obviously you want to make sure that you send the scripts and ads to film. You want the client to do that first. If they have like a particular ad or like a script that they want to use, then totally. It's their business, it's their advertisement at the end of the day, right? But you want to make sure that you, give them suggestions, give them some pointers, just because maybe their perspective might not always be the best. So you want to kind of like put some hints and some suggestions in terms of that, right? So obviously you can have another offer where it's just kind of like a AI, pretty much doing like the AI actors and using I believe there's a website or a software called Arc Ads that you can use. I personally use Arc Ads. I'm not too sure why I forgot about that just now, but yeah, it's called Arc Ads. I believe it's $25-$30 a month just for the paid subscription, but at the end of the day, if you pay $30 a month and you're generating retainers and you're essentially you're getting a high ticket for this service that you're pretty much providing, that's pretty much worth it, right? So you can create AI actors if you want to use AI actors. If you want to use their personal videos that they already made for you, then you can use that. But like I said, definitely add like a hint of suggestions. That way you can get a little bit more personalized in terms of actually getting those ads out, and actually converting those ads into actual leads that book on with you, right? Like I said, you obviously want to make sure that you edit it and send the ads for approval. Make sure that the client is happy with the ads and they approve it. Once that is done, ads are launched and leads are flowing, right? If you know what you're doing in terms of actually knowing how to run ads, right? Pillar 2 is pretty much like the qualification sequence, right? So this is where the leads are collected on the form and they're converted onto the calendar, making sure that we pre-qualify them first, right? We can have AI assistants and automations to pretty much reach out to those leads 24/7. Because I know there's a lot of people just scrolling. Obviously people might not call at midnight, but I know there's a lot of people who just doom scroll at midnight or even at like 1 or 2 a.m. And a lot of people just kind of inquire you about an advertisement because they just click buttons at that time, right? So you want to make sure that you get to those leads as fast as possible. And most of the time, I mean, a lot of people aren't going to be awake they're not going to be awake at 1 or 2 a.m., right? So you want to make sure that it's more speed to lead. And even in the daytime as well. Even if someone inquires you in the daytime, you want to make sure that you inquire them, and you get back to them as soon as possible. All speed to lead. Everything here is speed to lead. And then obviously AI-powered and text email automations, we can get those sent out as well. And we can pretty much integrate all this, or you can integrate this into into their CRM. If they don't have a CRM, obviously that could be a different offer that you provide as well. But on top of this offer, so that's obviously more retainers and more upfront investment, right? So if they don't have a CRM, create them a CRM. If they do, just integrate that into their CRM. If they don't have an API key, that might be a problem. You might have to create them a CRM, a separate one. But obviously, like I said, if they do have a CRM that has API keys, you could just pretty much plug all that information into the CRM that they're using, right? And everything here is all just like pillars. It's just all systems stacked on each other, right? I mean, at the end of the day, like, you got to realize it's not a service that you should be providing. It's a system that you should be providing, right? For example, instead of it just being website optimization, lead generation, and AI voice agents, right? It should be all stacked on each other to make sure that it's flowing smoothly. For example, right? I mean, let's say website optimization. And then we have a system on below that where it's kind of like a lead generation where we send out email reminders and marketing campaigns and SMS automations, right? So now that if someone inquires you from the website, then they're going to get SMS and marketing and emails, right? And then after that, then you can have an AI voice agent where they could reach out to them. So you want to make sure that you're stacking everything on top of each other and making them make sense on what they're actually what they're needing, right? And after that is done, I mean, if obviously you want to come here and then this is kind of like, you could copy exactly how this this template is. I'll probably attach the template down below in the description, but I mean, you want to make sure that you have world-class support as well. For example, like a dedicated client success manager. You don't have to worry about that if you're just starting off. Do not worry about that. But you want to make sure that you create a Slack channel. That way you guys are able to be kept in touch with each other one-on-one, right? You want to send them weekly video updates as well, and then bi-weekly update calls, making sure that everything's flowing smoothly and there's nothing wrong with that, right? I'm going to skip the premium system add-ons and obviously action taker guarantee. You have to always have an action taker guarantee. If you don't have a guarantee, most of the time people are not going to go with you because they don't have something to fall back on, right? So obviously you can just have the guarantee as like, we work for free until you do, or cover all extra time, right? So that's essentially how the offer should be optimized. But in terms of retainers and how you want to package everything, this is how you want to make sure that you package everything, right? So I'm going to come here, I'm putting the text message here. So obviously I'm going to put this up until 50. So that way you guys can see this. So this is how the retainers are going to work. So there's two types of payment options you can do, right? So obviously there's a trial versus pay per results basis. Now, the reason why, obviously these two matter, or obviously I want to make sure that I don't, what is going on? Okay. Okay, whatever. Okay, so trial versus pay per result basis, right? So trial, let's come here, right? So obviously if we put in trial, the benefits of having the trial in place is that obviously the biggest thing for trial is you make them have the experience, right? So you obviously, they're going to have the experience first. I'm just going to put this in bold, and then I'm going to put this in size small. So obviously, or whatever. Mario's just being it's doing stupid today. Okay, so yeah, like I said, right? Obviously, trial. If you go to trial basis, you can essentially give them the experience first, right? So they're essentially getting the experience firsthand, right? So that's kind of like the benefits. So I'm gonna just write down the benefits, right? So obviously, benefit number one, experience. So that's kind of like the benefits of like having a trial, right? So they get the experience firsthand. So instead of it just being paid up front, and just kind of like taking, I wouldn't say a gamble, but most people just kind of think of it as a gamble, right? So you want to make sure that they get the experience first. That's the best thing for trials, right? Two, if you do good with the experience and they see the investment and they see the results, they're obviously going to have to work with you and keep on working with you. So you're essentially, you know, you're working for 2 to 3 weeks. You know, I like to stay through 2 to 3 weeks for the trial because I believe 1 month is just too long. But I mean, if you're good enough, you can get them results in 2 to 3 weeks, right? So 2 to 3 weeks timeline, and obviously if they're getting good results, you already have them on the hook, right? So that's kind of your basis in terms of that, right? So obviously experience. Two is already on the hook. And then three is obviously you can get them on the retainers as well, right? So for example, if let's say your retainer is I don't know, right, 500 a month, right? So if eventually they'll have to pay you, right? Because I mean, at the end of the day, they got the results, they've already got the experience firsthand. They already are familiar who you are because you've probably done your job to make sure that they get the results and they had good client experience, right? Because everybody, no matter if they're on a trial or no matter if they're on a pay per result basis, they should be treated as a client that actually paid you upfront as well, no matter what, right? So that's the experience in terms of like having a trial in place. Now, obviously, you know, with pay per, so I don't know why, so pay per result basis, right? So now with this, right, you want to make sure that, because pay per result basis is more so like it's better in the long run, right? But if you are just starting out, you don't have a first client, it's probably not going to be, it's a gamble on your side because you haven't gotten results for anybody yet. It's your first client and you haven't received any money up front, right? And at the end of the day, you probably don't even know how to onboard a client or even handle a client, let alone, right? So if you're just beginning, right, I would definitely start with trial. So where's the marker? So I would definitely start with trial. Trial, what is going on? All right, whatever. Trial. All right, whatever. Right. So I would start if I was a beginner, I would start with trial. Right. So this is the biggest thing for what you should be aiming for. Now, if you're experienced, I mean, you don't have to be too experienced, but if you have like 1 client and 2 clients, and now you're actually getting results for people, I would do pay per result basis. Right. Now, the reason why I say pay per result basis is honestly better for the long run is because let's say you're charging $50 per quality appointment, and you're getting 25 plus qualified appointments every single month. Not only is that a retainer, but if you do the math, 50 plus 25 is 2,500 a month just for bringing in qualified appointments, right? So, like I said, I mean, pay per result basis is way better. It's more efficient, more revenue, and 3, obviously you're just making more money, right? Like I said, more revenue. So pay per result basis is a little bit more of that. I mean, like I said, also, more retainer fee as well, right? And obviously, if you do pay per result basis as well, you can definitely charge a retainer fee. That's what I do for one of my clients where we're doing pay per result basis as well, but they have a retainer fee to pay us kind of like $500 a month. It's not like a huge upfront investment as well as like a huge retainer fee. Just kind of like to make sure that we are still working for you, even if you're still paying us pay per result basis, right? So pay per result basis, it doesn't have to be like every day, it doesn't have to be every week, it could be like bi-weekly, like just same thing as how you would you would typically get your paycheck. Just kind of like track everything in terms of that, see how many results you're getting for them, how many qualified appointments, whatever it is. And then pretty much just track that and just kind of like, have them pay you bi-weekly, right? So that's essentially how it goes. Obviously, I hope this was easy to understand. Like I said, I'll have this template in the description down below, so you can pretty much see how you can like systemize your whole offer. You guys can add other stuff into this as well. Like it doesn't have to be exactly like this. Like I said, make your own unique touch to it. But at the end of the day, this is also how you can go about charging people. So I would if you're just starting out, if you don't have sales experience, I would shy away from trying to get your first client by trying to have them pay up front, because most of the time it's not really going to work. So you want to make sure that you do a trial first, or if you're a little bit more experienced on the sales side, do a pay per result basis as well. So yeah, that's pretty much it. All right, so that is going to be the end of the video. If you guys have any questions, feel free to leave it down in the comments down below. I know I told you guys I would start posting like 3 times a day. 3 times a week. 3 times a day is kind of crazy, but I want to make sure that I create and post out valuable content for you guys. I don't want to rush things here. So yeah, like I said, if you guys have any questions, feel free to leave it down in the comments below. Next video is going to be a little interesting one. I'm not going to tell you guys what it is, but if you guys want to get down in the comments, leave it down below as well. But yeah, like again, please leave a like, subscribe, it'll help me out a lot. But yeah, I mean, there's nothing else too much to say on my side other than I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.